This is N4LQ.
KN4R.
Well, all right. The old friends net is now in session. Listening for any check-ins. Give me a call.
KN4R.
I got you. I got KN4R. Anybody else tonight? Well, we'll give us some time anyway. So, Brian, have you stayed warm today?
Well, yeah, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't. We went over. We took the brother-in-law over to Gerber Collision in Mooresville to drop off his car. He had a fender bender coming back from Raleigh a few weeks ago, and then we ate downtown Davison at a place called Toast, which was very good. And then we, let's see, where did we go? Then we went over to the Good Foot store, and I got some inserts for my shoes to help me fix my problem with my feet. So we had a busy day, and Kathy's still downstairs putting away Christmas, but she's getting pretty close. We got to be done by tomorrow, like lunchtime, and so that's about it. So what have you been doing? Were you outside today?
Roger. Yeah, I went to the Good Foot store, or Good Feet, or whatever it was called. It was somewhere, I think it was in the south end of Charlotte, but that's been at least 10 years ago, or maybe longer, I don't know. I think they were kind of new at the time, and I got some inserts, but they seemed a little stiff to me. I didn't end up using the best one that I've found so far, and I don't know if it still exists, but Dr. Scholes had a machine in Walmart. I don't know, a lot of the Walmarts had them, and you put your foot in it, and the computer would read out which one of their lifts that you needed, and give you a number, and then you picked it up off the shelf. Well, that really worked out good. I still got them. I wear them on my walks. But anyway, and good on the car repair. I'm wondering exactly how much damage was done there. Let's see if anybody else. I heard another carrier, N4LQ. Well, I thought I heard another carrier. Let's go another round, so go ahead and find on Toast. Yeah, Toast. There's some new place down there off of Brookshire where we used to live. That sounds kind of like some kind of toast or breakfast place down there across from Walmart in that new shopping center. I can't think of what it is, though. KN4R, N4LQ.
W4G.
Gotcha, Brandon.
Hello, fellers. Hold on a minute. That's more better. Well, I was talking away, but I was on 1880. Good evening, W4GUZ. Go ahead, Brian.
All right, Brandon, very good. W4GUZ in the group, KN4R. Well, Brandon, you are pinning my S meter, so that's good, and I'm glad you got down here on 1864. That's great. So, yeah, Steve, very good on Dr. Scholes and the machine. I'll have to go out to Walmart and see what and see if I can find the machine and what it tells me as far as inserts go. So I'm willing to try anything. So, but yep. So anyway, I'm using the Globe Champ tonight, If I start getting off frequency, let me know, and I'll readjust it a little bit. And listening on the black HRO. So, Brandon, over to you. W4GUZ and the group, KN4R.
Okay, Brian. Good evening. I guess it's just Steve and you for now. But yeah, wrong frequency. Right time, but wrong frequency. Oh, been work. So I'm off for a day or two or three or four. I'm off 4 days, so I'm tickled to death. So I don't know what I'll get into. Not much news to report from here. I don't know if Cliff's going to jump in here or not. Terry, WD4OUM, third party traffic, or third party news. He made it through the surgery well, and hopefully on the road to recovery. So that's good news from the mayor of Burbank. Over to you, Steve. I got home about the time you were checking into the SMARC net, so I didn't bother. It was over. But the Valiant was sounding good. N4LQ W4GUZ.
All right, got anybody else that they would like to check in?
That's WB4NKL.
There's a big sound. WB4NKL. Well, good evening, Cliff. And yeah, I just got in on the tail end of that thing, and that's okay. I was recording it, and thought, well, at least I can do is check in. So, what's up, Cliff? WB4NKL, N4LQ.
That's WB4NKL. Guys are sounding good here tonight. I'm still on the Globe King 500, and you know, Brandon, that was information from Terry's ex-wife to maybe to Leroy's wife, and then to Leroy, and then to me. And I didn't talk to Leroy. He'd left a message on my phone, and that was what they said. So it's like one of them things at a party, you know, time it goes through a lot of translations, but hopefully we got the gist of it. I'm still a little confused on exactly what the surgery involved. Yeah, I got out this evening. It warmed up in I think it's 42 here, and I got a shortened walk in. I got in about 3 miles today. So hopefully weather will hold out. They're calling for some strange weather. They're not really sure what's going to do by the weekend. I've heard rain, sleet, and snow, so who knows. Go ahead, Steve. N4LQ, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff. Yeah, I skipped my walk today. Oh, I didn't skip. I didn't walk. I stayed home. I don't know. It burned me out yesterday. I didn't think I was going to survive that one. I just about called Linda and told her to come and get me. But I drank that, whatever it is, that Joy juice. Yeah, Red Bull. Yeah, it helped. I'm going to have to do something about this mic. I think I'm going to change it. It's going to burn up my relay or something here. I got to squeeze it so tight. I got to fix the relay or the switch in this mic. But I'm on the Valiant again, and I took it apart, and I got that 0.2 ohm resistor in the mail today, and put that in the meter shunt, and that took care of that. So it's showing a little more accurate on the plate meter anyway, I believe. Looks like about 350 mils, about 112, 115 watts. it's not the same on 80. It's a little higher on 80. I guess something to do with the efficiency of the tank coil or something. And then I also put in that thermistor in the plate transformer's primary to help cure the thump. Thought I had it, but then I put it back together and it still thumps. So the stupid cabinet rattles. I got a couple of door stops sitting on top of the cabinet toasting, but you can kind of hear it if I bang on the just those screws, those long screws, they rattle. So I'm going to have to put some bushings around them where they go through the bracket, I guess. That's just a flimsy design on the top there. And that magnetic field, even though it comes up a little slower, which is really almost impossible to perceive, I couldn't tell any difference really, but it's in there, and I assume it's working, but it would have to be a lot more gradual to actually accomplish any good. But the King sounds good, the Champ sounds good, and Brandon, I assume you're on one of your biggies there, KN4R, and let's see if anybody else wants to check in. Just drag your feet, N4LQ.
Yeah, okay, Steve, N4LQ in the group, KN4R. Very good on all. Valiant does sound good here. And I wonder if anybody's taken you up on your kind offer on your Viking 1 in BFO. I thought that was one heck of a deal. And and the other thing is, that multi-LMAC ad that you sent out, that's quite a commitment to go mobile back then, in terms of dollars and all that. So, of course, back then we probably had really, really good propagation too. So a fairly weak AM signal could still talk the world. So, but I was kind of amazed by all the little pieces and parts that you kind of needed, or at least you could add on there. So. Let's see. So I guess that's about all I've got. Cliff, I'm glad you got a walk in. I'm going to start walking here shortly. And told the wife this year is the year I lose some weight. So that's going to be the goal. But I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to jinx it. So W4GUZ off for 4 days. I don't know what you're going to do with yourself. It's KN4R.
Okay, Brian. I'm sure I can make use of every hour. I've got a track hose sitting out in my side yard behind my building, so I don't know if I'll be on the 75 meter over the hill gang tomorrow, because he said he would be here at daylight, but should be short work. But I've got to get a shipping container in here so I can have some room to work. What was I gonna say? I need to start writing stuff down. I say that every time. The weather here, like you said, Cliff, is a little iffy. I think the highs are in the low 40s and the lows are in the mid-20s over the weekend, so I'm not sure where that front's headed. They've been talking about it a lot on the news, according to my wife. I try not to watch the news, so. And I missed the ad on the multi-LMAC. I don't know how you sent that out, Steve, but I'd love to see it. My plan is to still put that it'll be the AF68 and PMR8 in this bus if I ever get it finished. And what are you asking for the Viking 1? Because I've got another ham locally that's looking for something. I'm afraid that may have too many knobs on the table for him, but and I'd hate to see it go to somebody that doesn't know how to use it. But just curious what you're asking for that. But I'd love to see that ad on the multi-LMAC. And Cliff, on Terry, I know you got that third party, but after Amy's visit with Terry, that kind of sort of makes sense. Maybe something going on with his lungs was pressing on his esophagus, and that's the reason he wasn't able to eat. But I don't know. Prayers for him. You either love him or hate him. And we've grown pretty close. We've got losing a child. We've got something in common, so we've gotten pretty close over the last couple of years. The Globe King sounds good, Cliff, and I need to start hiking. Walking up and down the road does nothing for me, but as soon as the wife gets out of her cast and over the fear of falling and slipping on ice, then maybe we'll get back into the rhythm. And losing weight, I'm still holding tight about 194, 93 pounds, down from 209, so I've lost some weight. I'd like to get back down around the 180, 175 mark. But I can definitely tell the difference, just a few pounds. Feeling better. Back's good, knock on wood. And all is well here. WB4NKL, W4GUZ.
And W4GUZ, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Brandon, I've been still messing around with this Gates. Chuck come by today. I had some rusty screws in the front of it, and they had nuts on the back, so couldn't change them myself. He come by and we swapped them out, put some new screws in it, prettied it up a little bit more. I got in the back of the cabinet and let him change the screws from the front while I held the nuts. And it's percolating right along it. Maybe 250 watts. It's showing about 300 on a Heathkit meter. But that might be optimistic. I don't know. All the readings are looking what the manual says, so it's probably putting out to 250 watts. So I guess our next step is to feed some audio into it, see if that part of it's all right. I've got 2 or 3 choices here on the speech amps. I've got an old Navy job, and I've got a couple commercial jobs, Electro Voice, and something else. It's got some tone controls on one of them, so I'll experiment around with that, see what I can come up with, and then I guess I'll have to look into converting it over to 160. I seen one guy on the internet. Look, he's got his looks like dual band. Looks like he's got it on 160 and 80. It's got a couple relays in there to switch taps on the coils, and from what I heard, it's a little difficult to get going on 80. But he's got a 833 in the final instead of those 810, so that might be the difference. Getting it going on 80, which would be easy to put a 833 up there the way it's built, and do away with the 810s in the final. But I'll get into. I guess I'll just leave it the way it is and get it on 160 and see how it works out before I start trying to mess around with 75. One thing I like about it, there's no blowers involved. It's all conduction cooled. It's just a quiet transmitter. So I like the fact that you don't have the blower noise or fan noise in the background. Go ahead, Steve. N4LQ, WB4NKL.
All right. You have anybody else wanting to check in? Call N4LQ. Total silence. Yeah, Brandon, I sent you that email so you can look at that picture. It is email. I don't know. I'm not a text guy. I do it, but my grandson, that's all he'll do. I mean, we decided to buy him a new couch for his new house, and he had one picked out, and he texted my wife a picture of it, and so I said, well, that's fine. Now, how am I going to buy it? And she said, well, look at the picture. I said, tell him to send me a link. Well, he sent a link to her phone. I said, no. Here, use my email address. I'll take it on my computer, because you can't hardly order stuff and do things on a phone very easy. It's just, you always miss something, So we finally got it straightened out. But he was going to order it from Bed Bath and Beyond. They got bought by Overstock.com, and then they changed their name to Bed Bath, and they took that name, Bed Bath and Beyond. Well, he didn't realize it because he was using a phone, and when I zeroed in on it and looked at it closely, it said shipping time 10 to 17 weeks out. And I said, well, that ain't going to work. So I copied the description, put it on Amazon, and poof, there it came up, and it's Amazon Prime, and it'll be there next week. So there you go. I have a question for Cliff. Write this one down. How do you set up the push-to-talk on those type of rigs? I'm wondering, because I know they weren't made to do that, and I guess you put a big relay in there somewhere to trigger it. And Brandon, congrats on the weight loss. I lost 50 pounds, and I gained a pound over the last few days, or last month, I guess. So I got to kind of keep an eye on it. And I have skipped a few days on the walk just simply because I just don't like it out there. It's too cold. So sometimes I ride the bike up there, but that's just not quite the same. The Swin Airdyne is a great machine, but it's just not quite the same as I just can't keep going because it's too boring. And sometimes I'll sit there with a video and my headphones on and listen and watch a YouTube video or something just to kind of kill the boredom. Wait, let's see. Cliff, you asked about the Viking. Yeah, it's still here. Nobody wants it. And that was Brandon asked about that. Yeah, and that was, you probably saw it at Waynesville last year. It was K4DEEs. He did a ground-up restoration, new front panel. I mean, it looks better than new, inside and out. It's just pristine, and even the cabinet's been refinished. And so I've told Cliff I get about 80 to 90 watts AM. It might need a new 4032. I'm just reluctant to spend the $50 on those things. But on just one of them, I guess. So I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and sell it and the VFO. But it would make somebody a really cheap way to get on AM. And the knobs, well, once you get them set, the book tells you where to set them about. Once you get them set, unless you're a real band hopper, it ain't going to matter too much. So let's try one more time and see if anybody wants to check in.
Muir was in there.
Well, I just saw a carrier. Who's that? Now, that's probably Mir. Let's see. Mir, if that's you, blip twice. Oh, that's definitely... Well, good evening, Mir. So you want to use code tonight, or we'll just wait for you to get going there. KN4R, N4LQ.
Okay. N4LQ in the group, KN4R. Yeah, Muir's on A2 tonight. That's good. So, yeah, I heard him. He tried to call in right after you started talking, Steve. So he'll be back, and he had audio when he first checked in. So, yeah, that Viking one's a great deal with that Globe VFO, and asking price is $150, by the way, Brandon. So that's what Steve sent out on the old friend's email. So, and it's just a really good deal. So. Let's see, and Cliff's going to talk about push to talk, and I'm glad you got the gates percolating there, Cliff, and Roger on no fan noise. That's pretty good. So, and good luck on adding the audio into it. That'll be nice. So, and let's see. I guess that's about it. So let's here, I'll tell you what, I'm supposed to send it to Brandon, so I'll send it to Brandon, and he can send it to Cliff, and then Cliff can try Amir. So W4GUZ, KN4R.
KN4R, W4GUZ, and the group. And Cliff, I want to see some pictures of the gates too. Hadn't looked anything up on the internet. I think you said it was a BG 250 or the BT. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I've got another ham over here that's thinking about getting into AM, so that's a heck of a deal. Sure is. And this Heathkit VFO that's on this Globe King 500, I can turn it on 30 seconds later, it's stable as it can be. And that was on a Terry's rig. I need to part with one of these Globe Kings. Give me a wider access into the rest of the radio room here. Got your email, Steve. That's a very persuasive advertisement for sure. It looks like a big, I guess that's a dyno motor down on the left hand side. I'll try to avoid that, even though it would be cool. We gotta do some body work and some paint work. And after I do that, it'll just be putting a jigsaw puzzle together. All the other pieces of the bus are ready to go. So. Except for the curtains, and the wife swears she's going to make some. We've got the material, so that should go pretty easy. Hello, Mir. You didn't have any audio that last time, big carrier, but I heard no words. Let's keep it going. Hanging here for a little bit. I've got to. Tonight's my night to cook supper. She's got everything she can do one-handed, but I've got to cook the meat. And tonight it's deer backstrap burger, so. It should be nice and lean. I've got everything patted out. I've just got to put it in the pan upstairs. WB4NKL, W4GUZ.
W4GUZ, it's WB4NKL. I sent you a couple pictures there, Brandon. Should be getting there before long. That's a good deal on that Viking 1. I don't think you could beat that. I was wondering, you had your Viking 1 for sale over there at Waynesville, Brandon. Did you sell it, or you still got it? I didn't remember whether you got it moved at that one or not. But that's a pretty good looking Viking 1 Steve's got. Can't beat that price, even if you have to put a 4D32 in it. but 80 watts and 100 watts, be hard to tell the difference anyway. Push to talk and gates, I've got to do a little bit of work on it. I think it's got a contactor in there, Steve, that when you hit the on button, it closes this contactor and puts voltage on the primary of the plate transformer. And it's part of a system. It's got some overload relays. If you got current on the modulator or overcurrent on the RF amp, it's got overload relays that opens up that contactor. And then to unkey it, the way it's set up, there's an off switch that breaks a circuit to that contactor. And that contactor actually latches itself on when you hit the on button. So what I think I'm going to do is come in after that in series with the primary and put a solid state relay and key it for the push to talk. But I'm also I need to sequence it. The antenna relay needs to close before that closes, so I'm going to have the antenna relay keyed direct and then have a little bit of millisecond delay or something before the primary to the high voltage keys. Little delay circuit. And the same thing, unkeying the antenna relay needs to hang in for a little bit longer until it unkeys. But I've sat down, I haven't seen anything. I've seen what they do to Collins transmitters, so I've come up with something similar. That's pretty nice circuit in it. Those overload relays that's pretty nice. It pulls. I think they're set up on a half amp. So if you got a bad final or a bad audio tube, it don't take out a fuse or anything. It just kicks that contactor out. And when I first fired it up, it kicked out, and I was looking at it, and one of the audio 810s had a grid short. I seen blue flame, and it kicked the contactor out. So I changed that tube in, out, and that took care of it. Go ahead, Mayor. If you got the rig straightened out, WF2U is WB4NKL.
Hey, Mayor. Two blips if you're alive. Oh, that's not good. N4LQ. Anybody else want to check in? Well, we'll keep trying. I forgot one thing I was going to mention. Cliff, you're familiar with the little bloop you get on the LMAX? That ad mentions that, and if you look at, let's see, FG, look at G, letter G, coaxial antenna changeover relay with push-to-talk auxiliary contacts to quiet receiver, transfer power to transmitter, and chop whoop, Y-O-O-P, in parentheses. So the old LMAC Yoop, whatever it is, was a thing back when it came out, and they used the extra contact on the I guess it's probably a Dow key, I don't know. Really looks like a Dow key. Anyway, that's pretty cool. The microphone is a Shure Police hand microphone with crisp audio punch. Let's see, it's impervious to heat and humidity. So it's got everything going for it, man. No yoop, and it's impervious. And of course, you get an external speaker there. You got to have that. There was a lot of bits and pieces to buy. I added it all. I sat here and added everything up that you needed, and it was, what was it, $660 some. And the high end on a car back then was $2,000, but for $1,500 you could buy a new car. back then, after about 20,000 miles, they started falling apart if they lasted that long. So I think that's where all the LMAC power supplies went. They mounted them somewhere in the car, and after 20,000 miles, they just left the power supply in there, and away it went. So that's where they are. They're all somewhere in a junkyard or long since been crushed. So there you go. Go ahead, Brian, KN4R and 4LQ.
Yep, okay, Steve, and 4LQ in the group, KN4R. Well, very good on your theory of where the LMAC power supplies went. You're probably right. There's probably been a lot of stuff that's been smushed in those cars. A few bodies too, probably. So, all right. Well, it sounds to me, I would guesstimate that maybe you've got your Viking one sold there, Steve. Sounds like anyway, which would be good. So that'll keep me from buying it. So, let's see. Tomorrow, trying to think what's on. Oh yeah, just finished cleaning up the house, and maybe I can get back up here in the radio room. So we'll see. So, but so here, I'll just go ahead and pass it back to you, and then you see if you can get Mir in here. So, oh, I'm sorry. I go to Brandon. I'll go on, keep going around. W4GUZ to take it. If you haven't left to go cook, this is KN4R.
I'm still hanging in here. KN4R W4GUZ. Well, Steve, your next task is to send me a picture of the wonderful Viking, and I'll pass that along. I've got to build a TR relay. I've got the enclosure and all that for the Ranger that picked up for a friend from Cliff, hopefully, and a Chinese. I'm going to take your advice, Cliff. I'm going to put the frequency counter in the same enclosure as the TR relay. As soon as I get that built, he'll be on the air. So looking forward to that. And my Viking 1, I had it at Shelby. I was being, well, I started off at, I think the first day, Friday, 250. Dropped it to 225, and I think I sold it for 200 with the Johnson VFO. I kind of regret selling it, but that's what happened to it. Cliff, I think that's the best looking gates I've seen. When I think of gates, I think of a flight cabinet and square and bodied, and you know, that kind of looks like a late 50s, early 60s station wagon. You just need a viewing window or a peephole anyway in the front. You could probably accomplish that at right underneath the switches there and the lights. Put a viewing window in there. That's a good looking rig. And I just read, as you were talking, I was reading this ad, LMAC ad. YOOP, Y-O-O-P. That's definitely what Terry's setup's got. I've got the woo for the VFO drifts. I need to get back in there and move that capacitor on the other side of the relay. Maybe that'll take care of that. And that's a good theory on the power supply. That's probably right. I'd like to find one of those antennas. I wonder if LMAC made that antenna, or I don't know. It looks complicated. I'll probably have to stick with I don't know where I'll put the antenna. I can't put it too high if I plan on traveling in the bus, but we'll see. I'll hang in here for one more. Mir, hope you're still alive.
I'm here. Can you copy this?
WB4NKL, W4GZ.
I heard you, Mir. I'll turn it over to you here in a minute. You had audio that time. Yeah, W4GUZ, it's WB4NKL.
This is WFTU.
Brandon, in that picture, if you look at it, there's some little chrome strips or brushed, I guess they're brushed aluminum, but it's got a window behind that, so you can look in that hole and see the color of the tubes. That's, I guess, what it was made for. That's where I seen the 810 arc when it kicked the overload relay out. So it's got a purpose to have a window there. I guess it'd be nicer if it had a bigger window, but it serves the purpose. And I don't have that LMAC ad in front of me here, Steve, but I'm thinking they were showing using the dynamotor on that installation. And I was wondering if that was a reason maybe that you don't see too many power supplies. A lot of people opted to use a dynamotor instead of buying the LMAC supply.
WFTU, do you copy?
Laying around, I guess, war surplus, so every ham probably had a dynamotor laying around. Go ahead, Mayor. WF2U, it's WB4NKL.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Cliff. WB4NKL and everybody else here. This is WF2U. Yeah, okay. I tried to put another radio in the air. Somehow the microphone is still not working there. And I'm running the SGC now. I turned on at 8 o'clock. I put the 7300 and just turned the AL 1200 on. And while I was just listening, I heard some crackling or something. I didn't know where it was coming from, and it sounded like it was coming from the AL 1200. The high voltage wasn't even on; it was just on a heater, and so I didn't know. I can't troubleshoot it right now or see if it's really from there. So I just turned the whole thing off, and I was working on the microphone of that Furuno marine transceiver, and I thought that I'll be able to use it right now. It's still, the microphone is still not working. I just resoldered everything, and I even have a new element. So anyway, and then I had to turn the SGC on because right now I didn't have anything else to use quickly. So that's the story. I'm okay. Hopefully the AL 1200 is okay, but it was very strange. As I said, the high voltage wasn't even on, and I heard some crackling noises from it. Unless something crawled in it and got fried or whatever, I don't know. But didn't smell anything. So I guess it goes to Steve and 4LQ WF2U.
Okay, Mir. WF2U and 4LQ. Well, sounds like you're on the air. And I was wondering if you could hear us or not, because you were talking, and while Cliff was talking, I thought, is this receiver working or what? But it sounds like you're doing okay. Upper sideband AM. Good audio, though. Punching through good. I tell you, the band is just lovely tonight. Well, back to this ad. On the power supply, it talks about the transmitter, 3 transmitters for the price of 1. So it's a mobile, a field, and a base transmitter all in one package, and then it says 1 plug for all power and control connections with jumpers for automatic conversion to 612 or AC operation. And then below that it says for 115 volt AC power supply is $49. So I'm not sure. I mean, there was one for the receiver only. That's the one Mir has. and one like that has an S meter built in, which I think is what he has. So, but I don't see the popular one that has the vibrator on it, but I'm pretty sure it's mentioned in the manual, so I don't know. This ad is pretty weird, and the guy that signed it up at the top, the seller, the dealer is Harrison, Bill Harrison, W2AVA. That was Harrison Electronics back in the day. The antenna doesn't say what brand it is, but the low loss plug-in loading coil system is Sherrick, SHERRICK, which I'm not familiar with. And then a master mobile body mount and all that stuff. Anyhow, I've got that book on the way from W6AAQ, I believe they were QAA or whichever one it is, the mobile man of the century. You know, he wrote books on mobileering, as he called it. That is on the way, and it has this ad in it. He was just writing it from a historical point of view, and he said he didn't know where the ad came from. I'd like to find out. It no doubt was somewhere in a magazine somewhere, but I had never seen one with all this stuff in it. So I guess the thing to do is search for Harrison Electronics ads in some of the old magazines, see what you can find out. And the Don Johnson, who wrote the book, made a big deal about definitely you should drill a hole in the fender and mount your antenna there, and not on the trunk lid because it's too flimsy. And don't even think about using a magnet mount because only a wimp would do something like that. And he said, don't worry, it won't affect the value of your car anyway on trade-in because they won't be worth a dime after you get done with it anyhow. So over to you, Brian. KN4R, N4LQ.
N4LQ in the group, KN4R. Well, very good. Well, they had those pretty big mounts that went around the bumper too, that, and then you'd have your spring and all that. So you didn't have to drill the hole, but I agree, drilling the hole is probably the best way to go. And yeah, that's great. Well, don't forget the Webster band spanner, because that's a nice mobile. I think that's the one Lee was saying that he had in his car when he was going down the road talking away. I don't remember if he had the AF68 in the car or something else, but and great on you getting that book, Steve. You'll have to share more about that book with us. Mirror the SGC sounds good. It sounds military-ish, but it sounds good. And Brandon, I saw a 15 window bus out this way today. It's blue with white, blue and white. No curtains. It looked like it was a 15 window bus, 67 or so, and split window, but looked pretty nice. Thought about you, and thought about the one I had just like it, and yeah, and very good on the whole multi-LMAC thing. That's very cool. So I'll pass it to Brandon, W4GUZ in the group, KN4R.
Believe it or not, people actually buy them. I was looking at the Mercom auction, and there's like 4 buses this year in Arizona that sold for $150,000, $170,000, which is just stupid. Stupid. But, that reminded me, you talking about the LMAX and drilling a hole in the fender or whatever. I guess that was the same era as those super safe child car seats that they had. It was nothing more than a booster seat with a metal rod in front of you. But I guess I was lucky enough to grow up in the last era before well, when you could still ride in the back of the truck, and I spent most of my time in the luggage compartment of a Volkswagen Bug, a 74 Bug that I still have. But it used to be so spacious. But I've crawled back in there and fell asleep, and then woke up and just stared out of the back window, and then just laid down and went back to sleep. But yeah, no cell phones, no seat belts required. So I guess I was one of the last ones to experience that, being born in the 70s. Oh, I'm gonna have to put this radio on this bus. That's a given. And I've got the is it the M7 or M1070? It's got the vibrator in it, 612 and 115 volts. So I've got one of those sitting down here. And Cliff, I tell you, that's the best looking gates I've seen, and 7 meters on the front of it. I like it. What's this thing go? This one's only got 5. You'd be better off with 7. And yeah, Mir, I copied you fine that time with your upper side man. Of course, I can't tell. I'm listening on the AR88 tonight, so you sounded just fine. And Steve, I'll pass this picture along. That's a good looking Viking. I'll pass that along and let you know. I'm going to try to get in here in the morning, but if he's true to his word, he said he'll be here at daylight, so I'm not even sure what time that is this time of year. Because going to work, it's dark when I get there, and almost dark. No, it's very dark when I leave. What am I saying? But I'll try to get in here in the morning. Remember Terry, and I feel like everything will be okay, hopefully. And good deal, Cliff, on Chuck coming over and helping you. If it hadn't been for Amy, I'd never ever got this any of this heavy iron down here in the basement. She's just as strong as I am. I hope we never get in a fist fight. I guess now would be the time, though, since she's just got one hand. I think I've got all the heavy stuff I'll ever have here in the basement. It's if I am fortunate enough to live long, I think I'll have enough projects to keep me busy here. Over to you, Cliff. I'm going to sign out and go fire up the stove. It's too cold outside for the grill. 73, and like Steve said, great conditions here on 160. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully this will continue through the year. Hard to believe it's 2024. Wow. WB4NKL, W4GUZ. See ya.
W4GUZ, WB4NKL. Okay, Brandon. Keep texting Terry, and hopefully you'll get an answer back here in the next day or two if he gets to feeling a little bit better. And yeah, there's 7 meters on the front of the gates, and there's one on the little. It's got a little oscillator chassis inside. It's got 807 on it, and it's got a meter on that chassis also. You can't really see it from that back picture because it's turned towards the inside or the other side of the rig, but it's an 8-meter rig. Except my RF meter's not working. That looks like a good one, Brian, that you found there that you've got. I might have to go to something like that. I'd rather find one that matches, though. I'm going to look around to Hamfest. Let's see if I can find the square. It's made by Simpson, so it should be a fairly common meter. And this one reads 3 amps full scale. So I'd like to find something pretty close to that to go back in it. I'd say yours would work fine electrically, but the round wouldn't quite look right. I've been going through the old CQ magazines, Steve. I've about it made it through the 50s, though, and I don't remember seeing that ad. Seen LMAC ads, but nothing like the one you had. Makes you wonder if maybe one of the dealers had put it out. And I'll keep searching. I'm not sure what year they started building those things. I'm probably done back past them. I think I'm looking at December 51 CQ right now. That's where I run across that Morrow ad for the chair side. And I never had seen that ad before. Didn't know they made a chair side version of it. Sure would like to have one. Looked good in there, in my living room. Of course, Linda probably wouldn't appreciate it, but I think it'd look fine in there. I guess I'll get out too. Getting close to 9 o'clock and turn the heat down. This building's heat pump's been running continuous here the last little bit. I guess it's already dropped into the 30s, so catch you guys around tomorrow night or in the morning maybe. 73s. Go ahead, Mirror WF2U, it's WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger, very good. WB4NKL in the group WF2U. Well, first of all, Brian, GUZ 73, have a good night. Everybody has great signals. I'm only putting out, let's see, what is it? About 80 watts peak. About 80 watts peak from the SG 2000. Anyway, so I tried the interesting because it looked like the microphone element in that Bruno transceiver was bad when I initially tested it, because I injected an audio and then it was modulating just the tone. And I ordered a 500 ohm dynamic microphone element, which actually fits exactly where the other one was, and I just installed it in the microphone case. It's the mobile mic, and it's the same thing. It's not doing anything. So it's very strange. And the specifications for the transceiver says low impedance 600, typical 600 ohm dynamic microphone input. So I don't know what's going on. It's really strange. It's unlikely that I got a brand new element, which is like a universal dynamic element for all the CB and other radios that use low impedance dynamic mics. So it's weird. I have to pull my audio generator here, and also my signal tracer with a little audio probe and audio amplifier in it, and see if it has any output or something. It might be some crazy thing going on with the cable itself. Then the old element might be still working, so I have to test that too. I didn't have time tonight. And tomorrow morning I'm going herding, so I might have just a little bit time in the afternoon to play with this. But what's worrying me a little bit, those crackling noises that I heard from the AL1200 when I just turned the AC on. I wasn't even transmitting, and it was not even operating on. switch and was still off. So that would be weird that it has a problem just on the filament supply or something. It's really weird. So I didn't want to start getting this testing. Oh yeah, about the LMAC ad, that was very interesting, and it's hard to believe that it was really that expensive. I don't even remember the prices. I have all the issues of QST. I kept those. I didn't throw out like they after everything after 2000 I threw out, except for this year. And so I don't know. Anyway, the net was very nice this morning. The full print net conditions were absolutely great, and everybody was coming in with pretty strong signals. So anyway, that's my problem here. And then I have the JRC transceiver. I also got the microphone connectors for this. I got several, just in case I have some other equipment that uses it. And I have to put it on my Electro Voice test mic, which is also 600 ohm impedance. So that's what goes to that transceiver. We'll see. But this really also bothers me with the mic in that Corona. It's very weird. Anyway, that's it from this end. So I guess, and Brian, you're coming in pretty strong also. KM4R. So, Steve, N4LQ, this is WFU.
Okay, let's see. I changed mics. This one has a better switch, but it usually ends up not sounding quite as good, but we'll find out. If I could solicit an opinion. Now, I was looking through it. CQ definitely had full-page ads for Harrison Radio Electronic Corporation. I think that's what they called it. And I just pasted one and sent it to the old Friends Net, showing their indoor mobile ham's paradise, or whatever they call it. They specialized in mobile equipment. It's kind of a neat ad. But I would say 1955 or 6 would be where you would find the ad, and if it's in CQ. And there's probably other magazines, I guess, that carried it, but for sure CQ magazine did use Harrison as a advertiser. Boy, I can't wait to see Brandon put all that stuff in his Volkswagen bus. That'll be. Hope I called it the right thing. I know they ended up calling them Van Augens or something in later years, and they ended up with a 4-cylinder inline engine in the back, water-cooled, I think. But I used to ride to school when I was in high school, in I think my sophomore year. There was another kid not too far from us, and sometimes I'd hitch a ride with them to school, and she drove a bus. Now that would have been 62, so it was probably older. It was probably a 61 model, or maybe even older. I'm not sure when they started making them. And we had a pretty steep hill to get up to the school, and that thing would just barely get up there. And first gear was like geared down to like bulldog gear, you know, and it was screaming trying to get up that hill. Probably 36 horsepower, maybe 40, I don't know, something like that. And I think maybe the van maybe had a little bit more power than the Beetle, but I'm not sure back in those days. Anyhow, that'll be pretty neat. I'm glad you got the power supply for it, Brandon. That'll be, that 1070 is hard enough to find as it is. So you want to be sure to put security on that thing. Let's see. And Cliff, fine on the push to talk. That's complicated, and it'd be interesting to see how you do it and what kind of VFO you end up using. I hope you don't use a 7300. Just try to use something that is deserving of that antiquity. Gosh, I get tired of hearing all the 7300s. Over to you, Brian. KN4R, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve. Very good. N4LQ in the group. KN4R returning 73s, Brandon and Cliff. And you guys take care. Yeah, Steve. I think they started making them in like mid-50s in Europe anyway, and so a 61 would have been a really nice one to have. I had a 67, and it was nice. It was a 15 window. It had the curved windows in the corner, like Brandon mentioned, and I should have kept it. But you're right. They were underpowered, and they were air cooled. The later Vanagons, I'm not sure if they. I'm pretty sure they still were air cooled. So, but they did have a little more power. But you're right about. I took my blue and white 67 up to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and you know it was all it could do was to go up some of those hills, especially the hill going up toward Boone, Blowing Rock. You know, that's a pretty tough one, and you're right about that first gear. You just couldn't go faster, more than about 10 miles an hour with that thing screaming at you. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and say 73s as well, and enjoyed it, and I'm glad y'all had a good net this morning. Sorry I missed it. So, anyway, I'll pass it down to Mir to tie the ribbons on it. WF2U in the group, KN4R.
Yeah, very good, Brian. I hope tomorrow I'll be on, and I'll see what's going on with the AL1200. That's one thing to worry about. Just heavy noise in there. What else? Oh, it could be. Who knows? Maybe a mouse got chopped up by the fan. I don't know. It was not that kind of noise. I think it was like sort of electrical noise. And anyway, I might. I have a 220 volt Variac. I might just put it on the Variac and bring it up slowly, just on the standby mode. So what else? That's about it. I'm going to definitely. I decided that I'm going to cancel herding on Thursday. At least I can make it to the first Old Friends Nest. Old Friends luncheon and of the year, and I wouldn't miss it. So I'll be there, and hope to see everybody. Anyway, so if that's the end of the net, then I'll say 73. Have a good night, everybody. Oh yeah, it's about time for me to go in also. Have a good night. Take care, and we'll hope to be here tomorrow night, and hope I'll be here with the AL1200. So N4LQ, KN4R. This is WF2U. Clear. Good night.
I guess, did Cliff sign out, Brian?
Yes, he did.
Okay. All right. Does this mic sound any different than the other mic?
You know, it probably sounds a little bit louder, Steve, but it sounds fine. But it has kind of just a slight ragged note to it, and I don't know. I think it's just because it's just a little brighter microphone than the other one.
Yeah, it's pretty bright. The other one's actually brighter. It's got a chrome base. This one has a painted base. Oh well, it's probably I probably got it turned up higher underneath. Let me back the audio down here a little bit. I do see a little bit of downward modulation. Yeah, that's probably better. Yep. Okay. Yep. I think that was part of the trouble. Anyway. All right, I guess that's about it for the night then. Anybody else want to check in before we shut down for the night?
By the way, the microphone sounds great now. I mean, it didn't sound bad before, but it sounds good now.
Yeah, it was probably clipping. Okay. Well, thanks for the report. I'm still going to try to figure out something to do about this big crash every time I key it. Listen to this. 73s, we'll talk to you tomorrow. KN4R, N4LQ.
All right, Steve, 73s, enjoyed it. Thanks for carrying that, and talk to you later. And 73s, Mir, KN4R clear.
Okay, 73 all. Good night. This is WRC report.
Night, Mir.
Nice, Steve.